Hey guys, and welcome once again to my channel. If you have been here and if you haven't, it is so very sweet of you to pass by. I do hope that you hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, then make sure that you turn on your notifications. So today's video is going to be this tutorial on this beautiful pink sparkly look. So if you want to see me create this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing as always is priming my eyelids, and for that I'm using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. It is just the best primer that I own. I just prefer it because it covers up any like darkness or anything like that. Then for my eyeshadow, I'm using the Element of Surprise palette from ColourPop, and the first shade that I am taking is the one called Go With The Flow, which is just a nice matte light shade. Then I am taking the shade called Labyrinth, I believe, and this shade took me completely by surprise. I thought it was going to be like a kind of like a peachy nude warm shade, and it ended up being so pink, but I completely loved the way that this look turned because I was sure that I was doing kind of like a neutral look with a pop of a pink shimmer in the center, and then this ended up being like a fuchsia bright look, and it's just so pretty, and I'm kind of loving how it turned out. So I'm just taking that shade and applying that all over my crease, and as I usually do, I am taking that a little bit into my outer corner, and then because I am going for a little bit of a halo effect today, I'm taking that into my inner corners as well. Next, I'm taking the shade called Blank Canvas, which is such a strange name for this shade. Okay, so I originally thought that this would be like a burgundy type of shade, and then once I started applying it on my eyes, I realized it was completely different. It's like a bright fuchsia, and it's so pretty. I don't know if ColourPop intended for it to be this way, but every shade that I used turned out to be completely different once I used it from what it looks like in the pan. I don't know if they did that on purpose and then that's why they called it Element of Surprise, but I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm just applying that shade all over my crease, but lower than the one that I used previously, and that just makes everything blend together more easily, and that way you won't have like any harsh lines or anything like that. Next, I'm taking the shade called Rayon, and this is a beautiful dual chrome shade. It's like a peachy pink but with green shimmer or green glitter, and it is so beautiful, and I didn't even have to like use my finger or anything like that. It just went on very smoothly with a brush. So now I'm applying this liner, but you can completely ignore this step. I just wanted to show you because you are going to see me with a line, but this is like a bronzy looking liquid liner, which I originally thought that I would like blend out the crease to be warmer, but then once I applied the glitter later, then I just decided to leave it more of like a cool tone pink look. But just ignore this liner. If you do want to apply liner, just make it a black one, you know, that makes more sense, I think. Then I'm applying some lashes, and these are from Ardell, the regular wispies. So right now you're about to see me being super extra and apply 3 primers. There is no reason for that except that I want to use some products that I never use. So this one is from Pore, and it's just like a cooling hydra gel for the under eye. It just feels really good. Then for my face, I'm using Dr. Brandt Luminizer Primer, I think that's the name, and then lastly I'm using something else for my pores, again for no reason, just other than the fact that I want to use things that I don't use a lot, you know what I mean. Then for my foundation, I'm using the Huda Beauty foundation, which I am loving so much. I know that in my last makeup video I used this foundation, but it was, I think, a shade darker, or I should say warmer than this one. I thought that it was fine until I saw that video or like the footage, and I realized it was just like too warm looking, and so I exchanged it, and this one looks way better on me. And I am blending that out with my Sonic foundation brush head for my Clarisonic, and this actually works really well for this foundation because this foundation is pretty thick, and this brush just makes it blend out like way easier, and I also use less product this way. But you totally don't need this. You can just use your normal blending brush. Just make sure that you hydrate under the foundation pretty well. Then for concealer, I'm using this Boo Boo Cover Up Concealer, which again I'm using because I haven't used it in a while. And if you've been watching my declutters, then you know that I'm trying to use things that were like shoved in the back. But this concealer I did not like. It looks completely fine on camera, but when I blended it out, I don't know, in person it kind of like I could see the darkness through the concealer, even though it looks very bright on camera. But trust me, that is just the lights. In person it was not that great. Then I am setting that concealer with my Too Faced Born This Way loose powder. And then for the rest of my face, I am setting that with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. I should also mention that I always set my concealers with that Too Faced powder or like any other translucent powder, and this one creased really bad. It was not pretty. Then for bronzer, I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills powder bronzer in the color Saddle. Again, I used this in my last video, but it was another shade. This one is way better for me. From the NYX Trouble of Genius palette, I started with one of the lighter golden shades for my cheeks, but then for my nose and also my lips and my inner corners on my eyes, I switched to the pink highlighter, and it was just more cohesive with the whole look. And for blush, I'm using this one from Pretty Vulgar in the shade Hush Blush, and it is so pretty. It is quickly becoming one of my favorite blushes. It is so beautiful and it lasts all day. Then going back to the eyes, I'm taking my Cover FX Shimmer Veil, and this is the most gorgeous product I've ever seen. Look at how bright that got once I started blending it. It is so beautiful. I think I heard somewhere that this creases, but I wore this until like 11 p.m. at night and it looked beautiful the entire day. Then for the rest of my eyes, I'm just taking that Labyrinth shade and I'm applying that all over my lower lash line. And then on my inner corners, I applied the one called, I think Feels. It's like a really bright one, but I didn't really like it. So then I switched to the pink highlighter in the NYX highlighting palette. Even though you can't see me doing that on camera, that's just what the end makeup looks like. Then for mascara, I'm using this one Double Decker from Butter London. Of course, you can't really like see anything because I'm wearing fake lashes, but trust me, this mascara is amazing. I am loving it. The only thing is that it runs on me, but you guys know everything does that on me. And then finally for lips, I'm using from Ofra the one called Aries. This is one of the ones in collaboration with Manny MUA, and I didn't want it to be that opaque, so I just applied a little bit of it and then I blended out the rest of it like all over my lips, and that made it like just not as opaque. Then on top of that, I'm using this gloss. This is the Goddess gloss from Almay in the shade Angelic. It is so beautiful. And again, I didn't want this to be too intense because there is a lot of shimmer on the eyes already, so I just applied a little bit on the center of my lips.
Something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be.
And that brings us to the end of this look. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this look, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you have not subscribed yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but just hit that subscribe button and make sure that your notifications are on so that you never have to miss a video. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a lovely weekend. Bye.